Fantastic article came out today. Bionano stock will soar as the company's diagnostic system catches on. And this does an amazing job of validating and confirming everything that pretty much everybody in the community has been saying for a few months, right? And even some more longer than that, which is once the reimbursements come through and once we start gaining those and having them, the sales are going to be auspicious, to put it mildly. Okay, ape language, sales are going to blow through the roof. And they're going to skyrocket, because why wouldn't we be getting more sales once it's easier and it makes more sense to actually adopt the system? If the insurance companies are going to start covering the Saphyr usage and Medicare and Medicaid, this makes sales and people and institutions, whatever institution it is, it makes it more likely that they're going to adopt the Saphyr. Consumable revenue is only going to increase every single quarter, essentially, and every single year, guaranteed. I'm just going to say it's guaranteed unless we start getting negative sales, until we start losing more customers on the quarter than gaining, which is nearly, I mean, that would be a disaster. Right? That would be World War III. Okay, World War Z 2, more like. So this is an amazing article. PLA codes, LDT building the LDTs, and the CLI lab, and this is exactly what you want to see. So I want to go over that today. We got a lot of interesting freaking job listings, man, and I love what they said last quarter. We've talked about this a myriad of times. To hire 37 people in the last quarter. We've now got 40 results for job listings for Bionano, and that is the highest I've seen it, I think, ever. I've seen it in the high 30s. I don't quite think we've got 40 in the last few months, though, to my understanding. So there are some interesting ones in here. For example, the manufacturing associate. I want to run through some of those and remind everybody why it's so important. Why it's so important, why we're actually tracking the listings for jobs that the company's actually doing. Also, we got a couple new filings today. Institutional ownership still continuing to increase, obviously. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek on the JMIA video later today. And then we're going to do a small amount of technical analysis. So without anything else, let's go over this article. It's a beautiful article. And this makes me more confident in the company to see that other people are starting to realize that there is something here, that the company is doing good things to help our sales. And once these things come through, you better have your shares. You better have your shares in, because you don't want to be the guy waiting for the hype, right? I want to talk about as well why we're still holding, right? All these people I saw in the Discord, somebody's like, I'm not buying BNGO because there's no hype. Guys, you have to, if you want to make money, you have to get into something before the hype. And that's not even it, okay? Let me tell you something. You don't know what the stock's going to do for sure, so I want to do a rant later. I'm going to spare you the rant right now because you want to see the news, but I'm going to rant later on the people who are trying to catch it exactly and time it perfectly. That's fine, but a lot of people are going to get killed and realize how hard that is to do, especially with something as unpredictable as Bionano. So for the article, we're taking several steps that should convince payers to reimburse healthcare facilities for using Bionano's Saphyr device. This person's confident such reimbursements will greatly improve Bionano's financial results over the long term. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And if we go down here, let's actually take a detailed look at what they're doing, right? What the hell are they actually doing? Are we just making this shit up, pulling it out of the ass? No, we're not at all. All right, the key step is to convincing payers to reimburse labs for Saphyr tests is creating laboratory-developed tests. The LDTs, they said in the earnings call August 4th, they were building one of these, and they're going to. With the new CLI lab, the Clinical Laboratory Improved Amendment Laboratory, certified laboratory that is going to be doing work, man. The Saphyr 2.0 development, LDTs being built, whatever else they're doing. Okay, nanonozzle, maybe. Oh, you know, Brandon, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. I don't know, maybe. But we've got good things going on. So you got the LDTs being built. You also got the PLA codes. And then you've also got the CLI lab that is underway right now being built for this purpose, for Saphyr 2.0, for nanonozzle, or something else. So that is why those are the concrete pieces of evidence that we have that the company's already told us about that are literally going to contribute to increasing sales in a huge way in the aggregate and make adoption of the Saphyr way more auspicious in every single scenario, essentially. That is, when a laboratory or what institution, whatever it is thinking of adopting it, it's going to make it way more likely that they're actually going to adopt it. Also, we are sponsoring clinical trials that will yield data that shows the high value of optical genome mapping. It's my opinion that these are going to be FDA approval evidence. Why else would they be spending so much time and money on these things when they could just do a similar sort of thing that wasn't as official as the 5 large clinical studies with over 1,000 patients, which is what they're doing here? Why wouldn't they do something more simple if they just wanted to get more marketing in? I feel like they might be doing FDA approval evidence here, and if they're not doing FDA approval, then they're trying to do this, which is basically what I call bypassing the FDA approval dilemma, which just means getting the reimbursements by the insurance companies, Medicare and Medicaid. That's all it is. And getting those clinical trials out and that data out that is going to help and convince other payers to reimburse labs for certain tests with the Saphyr and start covering it. That is so we got the clinical trials, you got the PLA codes, you got the LDTs and the CLI lab, right? As if you need more, right? People ask, Brandon, do we have any catalysts? Brandon, why are you holding? I'm holding because I know what the company is doing right now. I don't know when other people are going to react to that. I don't know when the market or high growth is going to react, or when the revenue and the balance sheet is going to reflect what we've seen the company do. But I know, unless they're speaking a different language than I am, or unless they're just flat out lying to us, they are working their asses off to do everything they can to put their product, which is the best in the world at what it does, in a position to be to be known by the mainstream and adopted by the mainstream. Global Saphyr adoption. That's what you hear them talk about. These things is this is what's going to position them to effectuate that. That's as simple as it gets. Also, I just want to remind everybody, because he's talking about the Saphyr is relatively inexpensive, which is always a great line because it's true, costing $550 per genome. It's actually $450 to $550, right? To be extremely nitpicky. But I wanted to say that by 2023, not only is the throughput of the Saphyr going to increase 14-fold, but also the $450 to $550 per genome fee that you have to pay every single genome being analyzed if you use a Saphyr, that fee is going to be decreasing to $100 per genome by 2023 at the latest, right? That is another catalyst that we have. And once the big boys in the institution start realizing that the Saphyr is going to get widespread adoption, what do you think they're going to do, man? You're going to see the 28% institutional ownership. It's going to seem like a flea. It's as simple as it gets. All right, this is great stuff that the company is doing. And this article is absolutely beautiful. Let's just read the end here. Payers in general and private health insurance companies in particular they care about saving money and saving lives. And guess what? By affordably providing diagnosis of disease earlier than the standard of care devices, which would be FISH, karyotyping, and CMA, and all other shitty methods, Bionano accomplishes both goals. The more people that realize this, the higher the stock price will go in the aggregate over, I don't want to say over the long haul, but just in the aggregate. You know, overall, the more people that know about Saphyr, the longer that time goes on, the more quarters of revenue that we get, the more Saphyr customers that there are and adopted machines, the more word of mouth is going to happen, the more awareness, the more overtaking of the obstacles like resistance of change and lack of awareness of the system and knowledge of what the system does. These are things that's going to propel us to places where the people who are selling now have the people who are selling now, they don't know about this stuff. They don't know that we have the Saphyr 2.0 and the decrease in the fee and the clinical studies and the PLA codes, the LDTs, the CLI lab. They have no idea what's going on behind the scenes right now. And it's not even behind the scenes. It's right in front of our eyes, actually, but they're closing them. They're not looking at the news. They're only focusing on the day-to-day, which is great. That's fine. You want to buy when there's a ton of hype? Whatever. I won't do the rant right now, but I've seen some comments today especially which have been peculiarly bad, even worse than usual. But anyways, of course, those dynamics will meaningfully raise Bionano's top and bottom lines, significantly lifting Bionano stock, which still has a reasonable market cap of $1.6 billion. Therefore, I advise patient investors to buy the shares at this point. That's beautiful. Larry Raymer, longtime bull. I really like the article. I really do, because reimbursements are going to help sales in a huge way. Going on to the job listings, manufacturing associate. This is just one of many. If you look at the responsibilities, formulation of reagents, following manufacturing batch records and standard operating procedures. Okay, I'm not going to read all these for you, but what I will say is that not only, obviously, we say it all the time. I won't give you the whole spiel today, but more listings is great. Specifically, manufacturing, development of the Saphyr, reagents, chips, all these things, more samples, right? You see a lot of, let's see if I can find one here. Right here, okay, literally right here, research associate assays and reagents, sample prep. The listings that we have here, a lot of them have to do with building more and building more of what the Saphyr, what you need the Saphyr, what the materials that you need with the Saphyr, right? You need the chips, you need the flow cells, you need the Saphyr itself. That's why we're getting these manufacturing associates and all these people in. There's more work being done. This doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be a huge amount of sales that's already happened in Q3. However, it's a good sign. It's a damn good sign. Imagine if we hadn't seen, imagine if this was only like 10 or 15. Imagine if this decreased after Q2. that wouldn't be as bullish. However, this has only increased a ton. The more people that they're hiring in the aggregate, I would say, is a it's a good sign for the sales and for the orders of Saphyrs coming in. I'm not going to go over all of them for you. There's a ton of great ones in here though. Mechanical engineer. They are building, they need more people to design stuff, man. I mean, there's Saphyr 2.0 development right here. The CLI lab. This is how we knew about it in the first place. That's why these listings are important. So I like what I'm seeing there. I'm still very bullish. Still very bullish on the company, and I'm more bullish that because of what we've seen the last few weeks with the job listing increases and what we've seen, which is a focus on manufacturing and getting a lot of machines out there and built, and chips and all the consumables. Filings here, not much to say here. They 28%, 28.5%. You only got 2 filings, you got one 13F and one NP. Nothing really, okay? You got barely anything happening here. The people that are selling right now, right? So I saw one comment in this. I'm not going to give you the name. I'm not gonna go over the name of the person, but I just saw somebody asking like, why would I buy the stock right now when there's no volume, and when there's no hype, and when there's no excitement. There's no excitement among the BNGO crowd. It's dead. It's dead. Why would I buy that? I'll tell you exactly why. The first day that we started running up, the day before that, even the day of that, there was zero hype, and that was the perfect time to buy. And that's precisely why you want to get in and be greedy while others are fearful. Otherwise, in ape language, buy when others are selling. Buy when it's low and then sell when it's high. You don't want to sell in general when a shit has gone from 630 down to 524 like that, with the company only getting good freaking coverage like this. Institutional ownership skyrockets over the last week. We get great. This isn't news, but I love that Larry Raymer and Investor Place has articulately put out there what the company is doing, specifically what the company is literally doing to increase sales and get us to profitability, and no one could care. No, I mean, people act like they could care less, like they couldn't care less. People act like they could not care less with this article, and this is clearly puts out there how we're going to be getting a huge number of sales through reimbursements and through making it more easy to get to use the Saphyr system, and actually more affordable. Literally, they save more money once we get this done. This is guaranteed increase of sales in the future. People could not care. You want to sell while that's happening? Be my guest, man. But don't complain to me whenever Bionano is looking like it looks like it has an Illumina trajectory, and it's up 100% in a couple months, and then it's up 5,000% in 5 years or 10 years, or maybe not 5,000, but maybe even 5,000. I'd say 1 to 2,000 is more of a realistic goal for 5 to 10 years. 1 to 2,000%. And let me explain something to you. The people who are saying just sell now and buy back in later when it's going down lower, you don't know exactly where we're going to go. No one does. That's the secret of the market, guys. It's a secret that no one tells you when you're starting out. No one knows exactly what's going to happen. We're all just here trying to make our best predictions based on what we're seeing, right? That's all we're doing. We don't know for sure. People didn't know that we were going to go up 1,500% right here. There was no hype back then. There was no hype, and people who bought here made millions of dollars, right? Mark, my friend Mark, Newsweek, our sponsor, he literally made millions of dollars on this investment because he bought when there was no hype. Buy when there's no hype. Be dead inside. Don't look at the stock price and say this company sucks, the stock sucks, it's gone down a lot. That's when you should be looking at it and saying this is time to buy. If it's a good company, of course. Okay, so I'm sure most of you have already heard that, but let's look at the technicals real quick. You're still very oversold in RSI. We actually went down. We went down about 2% today, and RSI was what, 34 yesterday. Now it's 32. In my opinion, I don't really think we're gonna break 30 on the RSI. We've got 2 data points to go to look on for this entire year, and we've got perfect validations both times. We did not break 30. We closed the day on the RSI above 30, and right now we're at 32. We only have 2 units to go until 30, and I think it's very likely that we're going to get a bounce there. I said yesterday I think that was the bottom, that we're near the bottom, if not already at it. We basically hit the same low as we did yesterday, but we haven't broken it. And I still think the only way we go down more is if high growth continues to get shitted on, which I think even that is unlikely. And even if we do, I think we're going to outperform because the technical standpoint is amazing. The technical standpoint is amazing right now. right now. This is an oversold stock. And I wouldn't say, you know what, I take that back. I wouldn't say the technical setup is amazing. However, I'd say overall, technicals and fundamental, taking everything into consideration, this is a great buy, in my opinion, man. That's a simple, I think it's a great buy. If I had buying power, trust me, I'm hoping, UVXY did do awesome today. And I think it went up 10% of the day. Yeah, it went up 10% of the day. I am going to be looking to add, I mean, I probably will take take a little bit of profits on this and throw it back into BNGO. Right? Because, I mean, I think it's an auspicious buy. I think this is a company that, at the end of the day, I don't know when we're going to moon. I think it's coming, though. And that's why we're holding. That's precisely why we are holding. We don't know when, but we know the company is doing great things and the stock price has only gone down. Simple as it gets. All right, with that being said, here's the portfolio. Let's do the password. Feel free to check out Newsweek, our sponsor. Link in the description for them. And with that being said, JMIA video coming out later. I'm still holding them. Basically, they did basically nothing on the day. But with that being said, thank y'all so much. This is not financial advice. I will see y'all in